Okay, we're back with the mayor, and this is Bob Kerrigan within reason. Mr. Rankin has been told to read up and to be a little bit more informed and hopefully to modify some of his views. He'll be back here next week to respond to that. All right, we're going to go back to this interview with our mayor, which leads me to this question. As I drive around the city in the areas that I drive, or walk, which I walk a lot in the city, I notice that at a lot of intersections, people have planted shrubs, some cases in our neighborhood, a brick wall that really is out in the right-of-way right next to the street and totally obstructs the view when you come to these intersections. Is this a bigger problem in the city? Is it just isolated, or have you thought about it?
No, this is an issue. I mean, a lot of the folks that work at the city have always, you know, these are the questions that have come up years before the new form of government. And what we're doing now is we're doing driving the city right now to see and taking an inventory of the right-of-way issues that we have right now. And it's dangerous, and there's a liability issue because you come to a stop sign or a yield sign and there's plantings right there on the corner. And of course, everyone, the nice thing about it is from a positive standpoint, is our citizens take care of their right-of-way, the city's right-of-way, and they want it to look attractive. But we just got to look at those blind spots because it is an issue right now. We've had a lot of calls about it.
You've got a big staff, say big, you have a number of people down there working for you, not that big, I guess. But let's just go through some of these folks that are there. So when people call and they talk to somebody, they'll know who these people are. And let's start with Bill Reynolds, because I know you're so pleased to get him with his wonderful background. What's his official position?
Bill's our city administrator. He manages the day-to-day operations of the city. Terrific gentleman. We were fortunate to get him. Wonderful wife, Kathy. She's in the reserves, the Marine Reserve. She's an attorney. Bill's background, the chief of staff for our inspector, also an attorney. They love Pensacola, which was very important because I think in today, especially when you have kids, you're looking for the right place to raise those kids at a certain time, but wants to give back to the community. And Bill is all about government, and that's a good thing about having effective government. And that was one of the big deciding factors in hiring him, was his efficiencies in running government.
I know I've talked to him on several occasions, and his view is that government can work. It can work efficiently. It can be consolidated. It can be, as I said, efficient, not excessive. And I mean, he has a very interesting view of government, but that it should work for the people.
Totally. I mean, you know, we're here to provide services. That's what the taxpayers do. And it's most important that we run the government effectively and efficiently. And Bill is doing a great job. And we have John Asmar. He's my chief of staff. John's done a terrific job on strategy, on projects that I need with the city. We have Jim Messer as our city attorney. Jim obviously represents the council and represents me. He's doing a terrific job. We have Helen Gibson, who's the chief of neighborhoods. And Helen has done a wonderful job. She's from New York originally, and her job is to really coordinate our neighborhoods in the city of Pensacola, because if you look at government and the things that are most important to our citizens, and last year I did close to 9 town hall meetings, and number one thing is public safety or neighborhoods, vice versa, that I get the feedback from the citizens. And so we just had our neighborhood conference last week, which was a big success. Everyone from the state of Florida came to Pensacola, was at Sanders Beach. So it was a really big win for the city of Pensacola to showcase our city. And Helen's done a terrific job with that.
Erica Burnett, what does she do?
She's our clerk, and Erica does a terrific job. And then you have, of course, Dick Barker, who has a lot of institutional knowledge, is a financial officer at the city. And obviously Dick's been at the city a good amount of time, but he's been a huge value for me since I've been in office for a little over 18 months now.
Now, your personal staff, your secretary and support people, who are they?
You got Rita Lee, who does it. She's my executive assistant that meets with a lot of people that I can't meet with. You have Elizabeth Buswell, who's my direct report that obviously is taking care of my calendar every day. So if you call my office, your first person you're going to talk to is Elizabeth Buswell. She's a 25 young lady getting her degree out here at UWF, taking classes, and so I'm hearing all sort of good things about college again.
Good. Well, in a future program, we'll talk about the different enterprises of the city and different departments in the city and the people that are heading up those departments. I just wanted to get kind of an overview of where we are. the big, what is it, the elephant in the room or whatever no one wants to talk about, are the unfunded liabilities for the pension. We talked about it on this program. You had the great pension committee that you put together that did such a terrific job in analyzing this problem. I think it's now pretty well known, certainly by the business community, if not the general populace, that we have a very serious pension problem. How do you see us coming out of it?
Well, I think you touched on something that's key, is the general populace all around the country, and especially in the city of Pensacola. They understand the issues. I mean, they see it on the nightly news, national news, local news. You know, we funded the pension $3 million in 2003. We're going to fund it $13.7 million this year in 2012. You're talking big numbers, and you have an unfunded liability of $116 million plus. These are challenges that a lot of municipalities are facing, but we right here in Pensacola are facing a big challenge, and we need to do something about it. It's not sustainable. We're not going to continue to be able to afford it, and you know, the last thing you want to do is interrupt the quality of service that we give our taxpayers right now.
Well, there's a level of tension now with the unions, right, because they have a right to negotiate and are an integral part of the system, that they are the collective bargaining system. Where are you in the various collective bargaining? You have a number of unions, right? In fact, there's 3 in the city police department alone, isn't there?
There is.
So how are you coming on that? Or can you say now?
Well, we're still in negotiation with the police. We have tentative agreements right now with ASME and the fire department, but we're in negotiations right now with the police department. So,
well, you know, we've talked about the general contribution by each one of these groups, the police and firemen, and the general city employees. But as it stands now, this new city employees go into the state retirement system.
Correct. They go into the Florida retirement system, which is very solvent, and that's what we're trying to do with all the employees, is get them into the FRS and get out of the DB business. I mean, we just can't. We can't, you know, sustain it any longer.
DB meaning defined benefits that you're responsible for paying.
Correct. We want to get out of the pension business. And, you know, they need to get into the FRS system so we can retain the level of service that our taxpayers are accustomed to.
There's a lot of activity downtown. Recently we had a meeting at the City Hall, I think while you were in England, as a matter of fact, and your staff put the meeting on. You hired somebody or assigned somebody to analyze the downtown walking issue and opening the grid. What group did you hire?
Northwest Florida Regional Planning, and they do a terrific job. I understand the meeting went well. I've had positive feedback, and really it's obviously to address traffic flows and to open up our streets, because we are so fortunate in Pensacola to have an amazing grid system where people can walk, they can ride their bike, and it's incredibly important to open up government streets so we can have some of the traffic that cuts through Kerrigan Court right now, and just get it off there. I don't believe the traffic's going to be near as heavy as some people believe it is, but it's going to open up a new environment for those people to walk Government Street, to walk east and west, and to, you know, let people know where our historic district is well, because that's incredibly important.
I walk a lot in the city, as you know, because I'll send you notes when I find sidewalk problems from time to time. But you know, if you were just visiting the city of Pensacola and you're walking up 12th Avenue, it's so beautiful. I mean, it's a very quaint, you know, it's great all the way up from Cervantes. You walk up 12th Avenue, and then you see this magnificent canopy of trees. Okay, then the sidewalk stops.
Right.
And so you're looking around, and you got to walk through somebody's yard, and I think the reason is it was going to be more complicated because there were trees they didn't want to cut. Thank goodness they didn't cut the trees. It's not fair to have a simplistic solution to a complicated problem, and I'm not saying it that way, but I know on 9th Avenue, in the most dangerous part of 9th Avenue, where you have a really steep hill there by Church's Chicken, that sidewalk just stops. And so if you are out for a stroll and you're not familiar with the city, you can end up being in an area where there's some danger because of the sidewalk. So I guess as a preliminary to the question, is there a sidewalk plan to try to complete the sidewalks in the city to truly make it a sidewalk-friendly, walkable city?
I think that's the biggest goal, I mean, that we would all like to achieve, and it gets back to even the new branding, Bob, is consistency and continuity. That's what we want to showcase in the city of Pensacola. And obviously, with funds that are available, we've got money set aside for this 2013 budget to spend a lot of money on sidewalks, because people want a walkable city. They want to feel safe, and they want to enjoy the experience. And truly opening up government is about the experience of Pensacola. If you have people that are staying here, or living out on the beach, or visiting our town in their own Bayfront Parkway, you know, maybe they got from the hotel that they're going to go out to the museum, and we want them to visit our Naval Museum because it's stellar. However, they might say, "Oh, wow, what's that?" And that's a historic district right into Government Street. So, you know, consistency and continuity. That's what we want to achieve in Pensacola, and be forward thinking in a historic city with a modern touch, and we can achieve that. And people have an experience walking from where you live all the way to downtown and feeling safe. Sidewalks are incredibly, incredibly important, and we're going to do our best to do a better job.
Well, I love the new park with the wide sidewalks for people with disabilities and wheelchairs. It was a wonderful architectural change. Brian Spencer, and you had other people I know.
Yeah, Brian Spencer, Steve Dana, and the ADA requirements were incredibly important to me. I've seen it in other cities on the really unique things that they're doing to grow the city in a better light, and that's what we're trying to achieve in Pensacola. And Admiral Mason, we did that. Obviously, right there on Main Street right now, in front of the Maritime Park, in front of City Hall, is we want everyone to have that experience of their city, because truly, it's the citizen city. They pay the taxes. We want it to be a first-class city, and that's what they deserve.
Let's go to the logo. Ask our staff to put up the upside of Florida, which is it? Would you say it's our, what is it? Our motto, is our branding? What would you call the upside of Florida?
It's a tagline. You know, and there's obviously going to be a campaign behind that, but we are the upside of Florida. I think plenty of us have traveled all different places and said, you know, where's Pensacola? Is that next to Miami? And I'm like, no, we're Northwest Florida. So I like it. It's catchy, it's smart, and we are the upside of Florida. And everything better, good about Florida is better in Pensacola.
When they say back to the grid system, that you're going to open up the grid system, what does that actually mean? By the way, I thought that what was your expert? Well, they brought in an expert that talked about other cities, was very, very informative. I thought he did a terrific job, and why you need to open up the city, and he called it opening up the grid. How do you see that is an important part of what we're doing?
Well, you look at your grid system, you know, streets that are running east and west and north and south, and you want people to be able to have traffic flow, and there needs to be a consistent flow of traffic, whether it's foot traffic, whether it's you know, in your vehicle. It needs to be a good flow, and it's incredibly important for the success of a city. And you know, having Government Street shut down with bollards up there, it really doesn't make any sense. I mean, I know there's some challenges right now, and people are concerned, and they should be, and they have every right to voice their opinion. But I think we should go through the process and listen. And you know, you have an incredible park across the street on 9th Avenue right there. It will be safe, and it will help traffic flow, which is incredibly important for a city, whether it's in your vehicle or whether it's on foot.
Well, one of the comments that came from one of the spectators or participants in the audience was, if you're going to open up Government Street, you need to have sidewalks connecting you up on 9th. I thought it was an excellent suggestion.
It's a fantastic suggestion. Imagine heading south on 9th Avenue, and then you take the sidewalk right up onto Government Street. What an amazing experience walking down Government Street looking west into the historic district. I mean, when you think about that, that's a great experience. Just like your experience on 12th Avenue with our beautiful oaks, we need to create those experiences. And we're fortunate to have a historic city, the first settlement in America. Let's you know, leverage that and talk about it.
If people have ideas, people in Pensacola, and I'll know, and I'll watch the letters to the editors, and I thought Carlton Proctor's op-ed piece this week about 10 suggestions for Pensacola was so good. If they have an idea that they think would really make the city great, how do they communicate with you? How can they contact you?
Well, it's interesting, you know. There's one realtor developer in town, a young guy, you know, chose to live in Pensacola, and we talk about it because the market is very soft, as we know, in the economy. But he sends me emails all the time, you know, offering suggestions, and a lot of people do, really. They email me directly. They call the office.
What is the email?
It's ahayward@thecityofpensacola.com, okay. And my office is 435-1626. So listen, we love suggestions. We want to know what you want and what you value, what you think can be better for the community.
Well, I appreciate you coming on today. We'll have you on again to talk about the different enterprises of the city, our gas company and our port and the airport and all of the good things that are happening in the city of Pensacola. We'll have to have you back for that. But I appreciate you coming on today.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk about our great city.
Our Mayor Ashton Hayward, and we will be back to cover an interview that we had with Integrity Florida after this short break.